Hi guys, Wendy Day here. I have my friend Rico Brooks with me today, and I'm so happy to be doing this. And Rico, I got to tell you, I have been telling them that you're going to be here for like months, that I was going
Wow.
to ask you to do this.
Hey,
I feel like I don't do enough for producers, and
yeah.
it's your strength. So, man, I'm going to ask you a shit ton of questions today.
Ask.
Yay!
No money.
So, everybody, this is Rico Brooks. Rico, how did you get into the music industry?
I actually started at ground zero. I started in music retail, So
Oh,
I started
wow.
working at yeah. I graduated from college. I graduated from Morehouse in '95. So now that just lets you know how old I am. And then started working in Greenbrier Peppermint Music. Shout out to Carl Harris. Gave me a job over there. Yep, at the Peppermint Music Store. And then that's when I started in retail, and then I transitioned to management like in 2004.
Okay.
Yep. With
And
Boys in the Hood.
I was just
Yep.
going to ask you that. Yeah, who did you start managing?
Yep. Boys in the Hood. Then I did Young Jock for 2 years. Shout out to Jock, Boys in the Hood, and Gorilla Zoe. Shout out to Zoe.
Shout out to
Yep.
Zoe. I love Zoe.
Yep.
Zoe has a song called Battlefields that's just ridiculous. One of my
Okay.
favorite songs.
Got it.
Wow. And now you also manage producers, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I have some of my clients include Metro Boomin, Southside, Sunny Digital, D Rich, Bobby Johnson, XL. I have some other names that are
Awesome.
not as notable, but nonetheless dope. Yep.
Good. Okay. And then you also you have a publishing company and you manage other talent as well,
Correct. Yeah,
which
I have
I
a venture.
just found out about you today.
Yeah. Over at Cobalt, I have a deal over there. Shout out to Admin Deals, and then
Yeah, I
I
love
have
admin
a
deals.
couple of writers signed to me, like Bobby Johnson and a couple other guys that are really dope. D Rich, I do his
Beautiful.
admin and stuff. Yep.
That's awesome. Okay. So what does I'm gonna focus on the producer manager side because I
That's
really
cool.
I really want to help the ton of producers that watch my videos. So
That's
what
cool.
does a producer manager do?
Well, basically, we we start. We help our guys like try to get placements. We try to put them in situations where they can be successful. We make sure their business is set up, and we help them get paid. Or we try to help them get paid, and we just kind of like help them brand themselves overall. That's my day to day is like, and then I just try to get them to see the bigger picture, let them know that it's more than just making beats, and it's
Way
more than
more.
just sending an email. Like, yeah,
Yeah, way more. It's long-term vision as opposed to short-term vision
exactly,
for the most
exactly.
part.
No, it's most definitely, try to align with their goals and let them know, like, hey, look, these are basically like what you're doing now. You're building foundation. If you do it right, you can like basically be getting paid off this for the rest of your life. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
you can.
Yeah.
And your children's children if you do it right.
Amen.
And your
Yep.
children's children's children.
Yep.
Thank God for
That's right.
copyrights. Um,
Yes, ma'am.
absolutely. I know that every producer watching this wants me to ask you one question, so I'm going to ask you right up front. How do guys place tracks?
There are various ways. One way is you can just send an email. Like some of my guys, there's this thing I call the proximity of advantage. I mean, the proximity of, I mean, the advantage of location and proximity, the advantage of proximity. So basically, you like in Atlanta, a lot of guys get lazy because they're like, oh, I'm in Atlanta, I can come whenever I want to come. But say, for example, Bobby Johnson, this kid lives in Germany, Bremen, Germany. And he didn't have the advantage of being able to live in Atlanta, but he had a mean email game, right? So Q was looking for beats, and he sent Q a beat, and it ended up being OG Bobby Johnson, the beat and the song. So that started off his career, and then we are like, okay, cool, let's sign him up, let's get him going, and then next thing you know, um, he sent a beat to Detail, which became the underlying composition for 7-Eleven,
Nice.
Beyonce's record. And so he was like, what he do, since he can't be everywhere, he just emails everything. And I would tell up and coming producers, your beats do you no good on your computer. So get
Right.
them out there. You know what I'm saying? If you have a good team behind you, a good lawyer and everything, you will be good. So your beats do you no good on your computer. Get them out there. Make sure you have a lawyer and manager in place, and we will make sure everything else is taken care of.
Right.
Don't worry about people stealing your stuff. That could be the best thing to happen for you if one of these big name producers or artists take your music, especially if you have everything lined up. You're gonna be good.
Right. Do you copyright the music before you send it out?
No, I don't. But I have like with Cobalt, they do that. Like, and they'll just take it out. They'll just take it out like I'll just see these little minus because they just do like several like at a time. So what they'll do is once I send them the information, they'll just send it in and they'll handle all that for me.
So you don't worry about copyrights when you shop beats?
No, I don't. Not me personally, because we have, first of all, we have the stems, and then we have like the email. So I've never had a problem with people stole something, and we didn't get it back. Or if once we like let it be known, hey, look, this is like gonna be an issue. They're like, okay, cool, let's fix it real quick.
Right.
So those are the least of my worries. Is like somebody taking my beats or remaking my guys' beats, and because they still don't have those original files. And then if we do, then we know we got music colleges, we have lawyers, we have litigators. All those guys are in place.
Gotcha.
If you want to go,
Right. And obviously,
but I'm just sending beats to like up and up people like A&Rs directly to the artists, the managers. I'm not just sending them to like other producers, because sometimes it could get a little weird when you send it to another producer.
Right.
If that producer not on the up and up, they could be like, just give it to me and I got it from here, and then they don't really take care of you.
Right. Or they steal it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So what is the best way in today's industry to build a producer's career? And I'm talking about somebody who's brand new, because most of the folks watching this are new or close to new.
I say there are a couple of things you need to do. You should be like very passionate. You got to get up every day, and this has to drive, and this has to be the thing that you live for. Like when Kobe played, that's all he lived for was basketball. Like, you're in music. That's all you gotta live for is music. Making beats. Like, get yourself on a regimen. You have to be like hard workers. You can't just be talented, because talent is overrated in the sense that, but talent is the basis. But you gotta work hard too. You have to have a good work ethic. So if you're talented but you're lazy, you're probably gonna get beat by someone who's less talented, just a little less talented, but work twice as hard as you. You have to have a good networking and relationship game. So a lot of this stuff is just like networking and relationship. I see how Metro would get on the phone with, you name it, who's who, and he'll make those calls and he'll make those text messages. Well, what if you're not a Metro Boomer? But you got to start somewhere. Everybody wants to chase future. I had a producer tell me, like, hey, man, I want to be on T.I.'s album. I'm like, get in line. Who doesn't want to be on T.I.'s album, So I'm like, how about you get with the next T.I. and letting you guys come up together? So, like, if you came up like Toomp and T.I. came up, you didn't have to worry about being on the record because you were there from the beginning. The same thing, like, say, like Jeezy and Shorty Red. They started together. You see what I'm saying? Like Mike Will and some of these other guys, they start together. Like Metro and Thug, they came up together. So you see a parallel ascendance, So don't always look at like, oh, I got to be on the big guy's album. Like, the great thing about being in this industry and being in a city like Atlanta is there's always the next guy. Like, say, for example, my baby's kicking butt right now, and you got guys like Joe Gifton, and there's always another one coming out of Atlanta. So identify talent and try to like partner with those guys or get beats to those guys, because everybody's running after who's hot right now, but who's next?
Right. Should they spend time building relationships with A&R guys at labels, or should they go right to the artists, or both?
I think they should do both. Like, they should, if you have a relationship with the A&R, because sometimes the artist may not know the exact direction, or they may have an idea, but some artists have the idea altogether, and they're like say, for example, if you're trying to get beats to Future, you probably shouldn't send them to an A&R, because they won't probably be allowed in the session.
Right.
But if it's somehow, they're like more structured, and they're more like, hey, look, this is the idea I have. These are the direction he wants to go, and they can kind of help you maybe in some ways that the artist may not be able to explain. Yeah. So I say both. You should have great relationships with the artist, and you should also have great relationship with A&Rs, because what happens is sometimes you may send a beat for artist A, but he may say, no, this doesn't work for this artist, but it works for that artist. You see what I'm saying? So never underestimate the power of like just an initial relationship. There have been times where some guys came to the studio to work with a smaller artist, but then the A&R liked their vibe and their work ethic and their music, and they were like, you know what? I brought you in for this artist, but I have something else. Can we use this for this? And we were like, heck yeah, you know, you know, yeah.
Absolutely. And how important is it for a producer to keep their publishing when they're doing a song if they do land something like with a bigger artist?
It's important. It's very important to partner like with the company or someone that can collect for you, or at least register the songs and like license the song so you can get paid. You know, a lot of people don't know that just from the inception, when you do a track, when you do a record with someone, you know you're a co-owner of that track, of that record. If you do nothing alone, as long as you don't sign off on no rights, giving them away. But then once you get this song placed, then you have to license it, and then you have to find out how that money is going to come in. So you have to like register the songs. If you don't have a manager or publisher who can register those songs with BMI, then you have to. If you have a publisher, then they'll do some of that. They'll do some of that legwork for you. And a lot of people don't know that there's more than one type of publishing deal. You know, you have the single song deal, you have the admin deal, and then you have the co-publishing deal, and then you also have the full publishing deal, which I rarely see people do. But there are different types of deals out there that can help you get paid, so you don't have to just give up all your rights just from the beginning.
Right.
You know.
Right. I love admin deals. I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, me too. And admin means you betting on yourself, like
yes.
So if you already have relationships and you already have like connections and you're already rolling, you may be like, hey, look, I really don't need you to take half of my copyright and take half the money just to collect my money. And then you may say, hey, look, let's just do admin. But if you're a new guy, you may be like, I really need to get in the game for a minute and I need to go hard. Like some companies, they don't do admin deals, so they'll be like, well, if you do this co-pub deal, then I get you more syncs, which I get both sides of it, but it just depends on your level and it depends on your financial situation. I've had producers that came to me that like, look, Rico, I stand with my mom, you know, I don't have a car, you know, I need my own place. I got a baby.
Had a baby.
Yeah, so all these things play into which type of deal you need to do, you know, and then you bet on yourself based on that. You know, if I were to bet on myself, it would be admin because I know I have relationship connection, I know people like Wendy Day, and we can make stuff happen, you know.
Right. I think that I see publishing deals as if you give up half of your copyright, you're betting that you're going to lose because you're betting the money that they're giving you as the advance is more than what you're ever going to make. So I see it in a very skewed, cynical way. I love admin deals because you can, for 10%, they'll collect all your money for you.
Exactly. You know,
and you need somebody to collect.
Yeah, you need that, you know, you still own the copyright. And a lot of times people don't even know what they're signing off on. I've been in deals where some of my clients, for example, they do these deals, but then they don't even know what they call me, hey man, my song was in a commercial, it was in this, and I was like, that's not a good relationship. So we're like, you want to be able to keep the rights in, because you may be against like a certain products or certain themes. You'll be like, I don't want my music used in certain themes. So that means that you need to have those rights. Like even if you do certain deals, you still should retain certain rights.
Certain rights, I agree.
Sign off on them, you know.
Exactly.
Yep.
I had a friend once who's a rapper who did a pub deal, and one of his songs ended up in gay porn. I don't know how he found out, but his music ended up in gay porn, and he called me and he's like, yo, I gotta stop this. It's gonna kill my brand. You know, and you can't because you don't have it in the contract stating that, you know, that can't happen. So, real story.
Wow.
Real fucked up story, but real story.
Yeah, wow.
So should a new producer work with everyone that they can, or should they work with one artist to build a sound, or should they be super exclusive?
I say this. Your beats do you no good on your computer. On the way up, do everything you can. Once you get to the top, become very selective. Look at your career like a mountain, you know, like a mountain. So at the bottom, you know, it's very wide. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But as you go up the mountain, as you look at the mountain, as you go up the pyramid, it gets very smaller. You know what I'm saying? So it gets very small. So you can be more selective the higher you go up. But in the initial phases, my opinion is like make a lot of goodwill. Just get your stuff out there and do everything you can and get out there, and then once you get to a certain level, you can be a little more selective. Now, not to say that you just should do anything and everything, because like if you just say, look, I only make this type of music. I'm not doing no corny, whatever pop stuff or whatever they may call it. You may like, I don't like that type of music. So not to say just sell your soul, because you still should be a person
Right.
and be a human being. So have some backbone, and so don't just take every check that's thrown to you, because like some integrity still matters, believe it or
Yes,
not.
it does.
So with that being said, though, if it's just look at this, ask your question: will this help or hurt my career? Is this gonna benefit me or is it gonna hurt me, long
Right.
term and short term? Some things, some people just say, hey, I just want a short term dollar. Yeah, I know this is not gonna benefit me long term. Which I'm always looking long and say, hey, look, we're building, right? And when you're building a house, go that way. It's one at a time. It's not just like when you're building a house, it's one brick at a time. It's not just you come there and it's done.
Right.
So you do one block at a time.
Right. And you start with the foundation and you go up from there, and that foundation has to be strong or the whole house will tumble down.
Amen.
Absolutely. Um, a lot of artists ask me when they're starting out how to get paid, because when they're giving away their beats for free, they're not able to get some artists that are also struggling to pay for their beats. Do you have any
Mhm.
input about how someone can start to make money in this business as a
Yeah, there's
producer?
different ways. Like when you first getting started, you could be like, say, how do I get paid? So you get paid by where the record has to be making some money. But say if they can't afford to pay for like say for example, they can't afford to pay $1,000 as a start off artist. They say, hey, maybe do 500 or do 200. Just do something. Like give me something. Like you can't just what I seen happen in the music business is like artists, they're coming up and they get these records from producers.
Oh, Rico, you froze.
Can you hear me now?
There you are. You're back again. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Oh man.
Oh, there you are. You're
Can you hear
back.
me? Okay, cool. Yeah, so from record one, they're like doing shows. So like the producers home broke, but doing shows based on those records that they created.
Right.
So I would say, look, if you're a producer, hey, can you DJ? Maybe get out there with the artists. Can you like DJ and beat out? Hey, look, you're making 2,000, $200 a night. Be your DJ and spending because so you just got to find a way to like say, hey, look, well, I can't pay you for it, but I can give you that, or I can't do this for you, but I'll give you this. Maybe hey, I give you this beat, and you give me a verse on one of my records. It could just be the producer featuring the artist, but it's really so you just got to be creative with your imagination on ways to try to get paid. But what I don't like to do is like producers ask for money up front when really they're just building a story, and if it gets to a certain point, then they could actually cash in with like a if it's an admin deal or a pub deal, or they can get advances. But if you sell the beat for $200 just because you were just so rushing to get some money, and then the record blows up, and a major comes in and picks it up, and you say, well, hey, you can still put it in the contract. Hey, look, I'll sell you the beat for 200 now, but if a major picks it up, I want 5,000 or 7,500 or 10,000. But most people don't think like that. They'll just say, I just need this quick money, and then they'll sell the beat for a couple $100s, and now the song blows up, and they're mad at the producer or the production company because they sold it for a couple $100. But you should
Right.
honor your word. As long as you keep your rights, you still get paid. But I see it both ways.
Are you able to resell a beat? Like if you sell a beat to me and I don't blow up, can you then take that beat and sell it to somebody else?
Yeah, as long as you do like they have to be things like a lease agreement where you don't own the beat, but you can like you can use the beat for a certain amount of time, and then but you don't have the rights. They're basically like it's basically like you go to a tuxedo shop and you get a tuxedo. It's probably a bad analogy, but
No,
you
it's a
get the
great
tuxedo.
analogy.
You can take it, you wear it to the wedding, but you don't own that tuxedo. You got to
Right.
turn it in Monday. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
look for the pictures, and then hey, Monday morning, hey man, where's that tuxedo?
Right.
It's not yours. Or you can buy the tuxedo and be like, hey, look, I got it. I only wear it once a year, or I only wore it to this one wedding, but hey, you don't own it. I always tell people that just because I go into high fashion shops all the time. That don't make. I don't own those clothes just because you rap over a beat. If you haven't purchased the beat, you don't own it.
Right. Right. Cool. Okay. And my last question for you is, how do you choose a manager? If you're a producer and you're not great at shopping your own beats and you want somebody else to do it for
Mhm.
you, how do you know who to choose? What should you look for?
I would say there are several things you should look for in a prospective manager. Um, One is passion. You need someone who's passionate about your music. So someone who's going to wake up and go hard. They should not believe in you more than believe in yourself. But sometimes that's end up happening in my case where like I believed in
Been there.
the producer, and that's never a good feeling because you're like, man, I'm going harder for this than he or she is. You
Right.
need someone with relationships and connections. Because you need someone who can call a Wendy Day or someone who can call a minister, a publisher, a lawyer, or like they can call. Say for example, when Sunny first started, I had a relationship with Two Chains from my young jock days, so I called Two Chainz, like I got a new producer I'm working with, and I want you to meet him. So that led to a birthday song, just based on my relationship.
Right. Just based on your relationship.
Someone who has access to finances. Not that the manager should be financing your career, especially in the early stages, but a lot of times the manager is. Say, for example, you have an opportunity to work with a certain artist, but that artist may not have studio available. So does the manager say, "Forget it, we don't have money"? Or does he say, "Hey, look, I'll put up for the studio tonight"? I've done that. Or even a flight, they're like, "Look, I can't fly you to LA to work with Wiz, but if you get out here, I can get you in the studio with them." So guess what? The manager sometimes is putting up his credit card. So you should have someone who has access to finances. Should look for someone who has leadership ability, leadership skills. So basically, what that means is like your manager shouldn't be out there like trying to holler at girls with you, trying to get drunk with you, do drugs. You shouldn't be doing that stuff anyway. But if someone has to be like not high when the police pull you over and say, "Excuse me, officer. Yeah, I'm driving. I'm not drunk. I know you smell something funny in the back, but we put it out. It's nothing going on. Can we just get out of the city alive?
Right.
And they'll be
Just
like,
get out of the city
okay, Mr.
alive.
Brooks, let me take you. Yeah, you're right. You haven't been drinking, so let's go. You guys are good. Get out of here. Don't come back again. You need someone who's likable. What I've noticed that when people like people, they tend to do things for them that they wouldn't do. I had a friend who worked in the music business, and he he had a client that was always busting his balls on everything. So one day a big concert came in town. It was like a Anita Baker concert, and the guy came to him and said, "Man, my wife really loves Anita Baker. Can you get me tickets?" And he had access to tickets because he worked for that label. And so he said, "I'll look into it." And so he hung up the phone and he said, "Man, I ain't doing nothing for that job, Turkey." He always busts
Yeah.
my balls. But this what I noticed. If the right person calls, it's never the wrong time. But some people, if the wrong person calls, it's never the right time. And I've been in bed sleepy, and the right girl called, and she's like, "You sleepy?" I'm like, "No, it's just 4 a.m. I was just laying here thinking about you." You know. Yeah. So if the right person calls, yeah. So
It's
you want to be
true.
likable. Not saying that you want to be just like a pushover, a butt kisser, but you want generally to be nice. It costs nothing extra to be nice. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So you want to be likable, and you want someone who has vision. Someone who can just not only see you for where you are, but see you where you want to be in 3, 5 years. So my vision for a lot of guys, because the producers, I saw the game wasn't going right. So what I started saying, look, just because you produce these records, but you should start DJing too. Don't wait till like your career's over to say, "Oh, I want to DJ now." Like you're hot right now, so let's start DJing now. So let's turn the music industry on its head in the sense of you don't have to just wait for the artists who did these songs to go out there to perform, and you can go perform it too because technically you own half of these songs
Right.
that are out there, so you can go start DJing and performing these songs too.
Right.
So and then you can also like you can expand that brand, and plus that's another check, and it keeps you floating until that next producer advance or next royalty checks come. So like DJ money can be nice. There's
Yeah.
other
And it
branding.
keeps you really relevant because you can
Yeah,
test music. You can see
yeah,
what's hot.
exactly, build your brand. So like I just started saying, there's no limit on the creativity. So if you use your imagination, you can get real creative, like, and just start coming up with different little things. Like, wow, why didn't I think of that? Or why did, you know? And I'm not just a oasis for like ideas, but I just start. Sometimes I just think outside the box because I even feel like sometimes managers get boxed out. You know, like there's no pension fund for managers. You know, like
No.
oh, like early on, like when managers when one of my clients did a pub did it like yeah managers don't get no advances on the publishing. But then I thought about it, I was like, but I'm out here every night advancing these songs. Like it doesn't make sense, like philosophical to me, because if we have to go from club to club to build these songs up to get them to value to where a publisher would even care about them, why don't I see any reciprocal value once that happens? You know, once we get it to a point, why should Warner Music or Sony ATV or whoever come in and say, "Oh, appreciate you, Rico, but
Thanks for
I took it
everything.
from here."
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like that picture. And just because someone says, and just because the model and paradigm is there, doesn't mean we can't change it on his head. You see what I'm saying? Who said that's the way it's supposed to be? Because we all sat down and agreed on it. But what if we sit down and say, look, we don't want to do it like this no more? You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like I personally feel like the way the music business is set up right now is not beneficial for the producers or
It's
even the
not.
songwriters in a sense. So we want to change that on that, or we want to move that. We want to make the now we're trying to do like make the artist, make the producer. I know it's nothing new, but make the producer the artist. You see what I'm saying? Like why
Exactly.
can't this producer have his own record featuring the artist, or why can't he be out front? Why does he have to be in the background and no one knows? You know?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep.
I think that's the amazing thing with what you've done is you really haven't just created careers for producers. You've built brands. Like Metro Boomin
Appreciate
is
it.
a brand, Southside is a brand, Sunny is a brand. Like
Mhm.
you've got such a foresightful way of thinking, and you always have, but you've really built like their whole livelihood. It's really amazing what you've
Thanks.
done.
I think it starts with the talent, and I want to give my guys a lot of credit too because they have a lot of input in what they want to do too. But I definitely appreciate it. You know, I just want to be like a vessel to help them get to where they're trying to go. You know?
Right, right,
Yep.
right. You've also got really, really loyal producers. And even though I said that was my last question, it made me think of another question, and I'm sorry.
Uh, it's cool.
But how important is loyalty between a manager and an artist, whether it's a producer or an artist?
Yeah, it's very important. What I learned though early in this business that loyalty and ambition don't always go hand in hand. You know, and some people are loyal and they love you and they like you, but they're like, hey, look, I'm trying to get to the top, and if you can only get me to first base, then I love you, Rico, but hey, I'm going on with this guy. You know, so I think it's a lot of it is trust and a lot of it's built over time. But I never get comfortable, so I'm always like trying to invent and reinvent myself. I'm always
Same here.
reading, I'm always making connections and relationships to say, hey, look, what do you think about this and what do you think about this? To say, hey, look, Mike, if you work with me, this is what I tell them. I'm an equal opportunity manager. So if you work with me, your beats, if you have a problem with competition, I'm probably not the right guy for you because your beats is going to be going up against Kanye, Dre's, whoever's out there, Mike will, because you're going to have a chance. So you can't say you don't have a chance, but if you get in the room and you're like, and they go like, man, your beats are not it. Then that makes some people uncomfortable because they realize, well, holy I'm on, like, you're in the NBA now, brother. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not ready to step on the court with LeBron, you might get dunked on. So be
Right.
careful what you pray for. You know what you ask for, because God might give it to you. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's real. Rico, thank you so much for doing this. Is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't that could be helpful to a young producer?
Nah, just get out there, work hard, man. Don't, like if you believe in something, if you know you're dope, don't let no one tell you you're not. What I've found out is follow that, like that gut instinct. If there's an artist that you really like or believe in, just reach out to them. You'll be surprised how receptive some people are. Some people are buttholes, but don't let that stop you. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it going. Just keep it going. Just keep it going. Just keep your head up and keep it going. Keep it going. Don't let one thing stop you. It may not be this year, it may not be next year, maybe the year after. But some people just keep going. If you know you're dope, just keep going because it's gonna come to you.
Absolutely. Rico, thank you for doing this. You've been awesome.
Thank you, Wendy.
I appreciate you so much.
All right, take care.
Okay, honey, talk to you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.